Good day and welcome, family, to the Power Up, where we discuss global, national news, even in your community, so that we can all grow together to make a difference where we are. I'm delighted to be with you today, your host, Tami Hill Thomas, grateful for another Friday where we can come together and be equipped, educated, empowered, and elevated. As we begin today's news, we're going to start with thinking about the global perspective of our brothers and sisters in Canada who have been dealing with battling wildfires. I want to share with you today that many of them in our family in Alberta, Canada, have been seeking assistance as they've been dealing with wildfires threatening their communities, especially in since Sunday, as cooler temperatures have come through. They're dealing with a lot of rain on top of having to think about the fact that the wildfires, the rain isn't enough. So there are ways that you can help. We're going to get to that shortly. On a global front, we think about those who are outside of our nation, those who matter to us, like our Canadian brothers and sisters. Individuals and officials in Alberta say that there were over 108 active fires just in the Alberta province. And the number of evacuees grew to above 29,000, which is approximately just 24,000 since Saturday. So as we deal with our day to day and the things that we encounter, we want to remember those who are in need might even be a little less fortunate than us. In the Canadian news, two of the outbreaks, two of the out of control wildfires were in the neighboring British Columbia community, causing many of them to leave their homes, causing many officials to have to declare states of emergency due to the high winds. The volume of wind certainly contributes to the harder battle that those who are in excellent opportunity to fight the fires still have to face. So we want to think about those who are both working to address the blazing fires and those who have been impacted. Certainly, you can assist by contributing to the United Nations Foundation. The United Nations Foundation's goal is to help those across the world partner with local agencies and communities. So you might not know folks in Canada, might not have Canadian family. We're still all one human race. You can assist. Consider reaching out to the United Nations Foundation and offering assistance to those who have been dealing with the wildfires in Canada. I also, on a national news front, want to share our heartfelt thoughts with our brothers and sisters who have been dealing in California with a few earthquakes they've been experiencing. Earthquakes that have hit Eastern Shore, California, and even shaking Sacramento. Mhm. We've heard that officials have said that so many have been impacted, that homes have been demolished, and that individuals are still trying to go through their belongings. And ABC News and different national news fronts have talked about the fact that individuals experienced a 5.5 magnitude earthquake just on Thursday in the Plumas County, Northern California area. Again, we want to help our brothers and sisters who might be in need. Tammy, how can I help those? I might be on the East Coast, not near the West. We've got an answer for you. Always reach out to the American Red Cross. They do much national work to both help those who experience wildfires, different disasters, floods, all that might be impacted just because the weather has taken control. Again, we lift those who are doing their due diligence, like our law enforcement and emergency responders, to help fight and aid and assist those in those moments. But certainly your contribution to the American Red Cross can make a difference. And while we speak about those who are dealing with earthquakes in California, we spoke last week about those who are dealing with tornadoes in the Midwest. We think about those who are globally dealing with still in Syria and Turkey, how they are still building out of rubble as they dealt with tornadoes that hit their area. And now Canada in their wildfire fight. Again, whether you contribute to the United Nations Foundation on a global impact, or whether you contribute to the American Red Cross, whatever you offer makes a difference. And we often have to be reminded that we're the ones that are put in place to be that difference. No amount is too small. Sometimes $10 here can be have a great impact across the water. And sometimes meals and those who support those in the most need, like our grassroots and frontline workers, they also tap into the United Nations Foundation. They tap into the American Red Cross, FEMA, who is one that immediately responds when there are disasters throughout the country. Work together as partners. You have an opportunity to be a partner. So consider how you can contribute, donate, give, care, even share the information. You can be the one to make the difference. Family, we move forward in our program, first pausing to think about our brothers and sisters, whether far or near, in the community next door. Maybe the house in your neighborhood sadly experienced a fire or disaster. The American Red Cross is the first on the scene. Maybe you're here and your family is across the water. The United Nations Foundation can help. We here at the Power Up just want to make sure we elevate voice to think about the one human race that we are and how we all matter. So as we start this show, we want to make sure to elevate the global and national news that is so important because it could be you. I hear Grandma used to say, but by the grace of God, there go I. So we don't just walk past individuals who might be hurting. We pause first to show gratitude for where we are and our ability to help and to elevate the news, to share that there's a bigger impact you can make, not just about being in your living room or in your car, but how you can impact and help those in other states and around the world. Once again, consider the United Nations Foundation and the American Red Cross and how you can make a difference. Every little bit matters and every big donation matters. There are opportunities during tax season where many corporations write off that donation, right? To help make a difference. We have opportunities throughout the year in our nation where we have give back days, where we pause to focus on nonprofit agencies that do grassroots work. In other words, they're the ones that might bring the tractor trailer with the laundry machines so the individuals can wash their clothes while they're digging through rubble. Yeah. They might be the Goodwill agency that helps someone go and get what you have as a secondhand donation. You got something in your closet with tags on it you're not wearing? Come on and bless somebody else. So there's always an opportunity to give. There's always an opportunity to be the one that can not wait for others to do it, but why don't you? We often sit back and think it's only the job of the national government to respond. The president needs to do something. I want to challenge you today that you have the power, you have the ability to help and make a difference. Whether you share this information, the BBC offers regular global updates, and certainly you can go to any national platform and offer information on your social media pages to help elevate, to help educate, and advocate. So, family, as we prepare to go into this commercial break, consider how you can partner with the American Red Cross and the United Nations Foundation. Please stay tuned. There's more after this.
Hey, it's Coach Piangel Jones from the Empowered Morning Show, and I'm reminding you to watch All Things Well 4 Thursdays right here on the WIN Network.
Hey, how you guys doing? This is Regina Hutt, the wellness practitioner at Empower Mornings. Join me every Monday at noon to work out with Regina on WIN Network.
Two amazing ladies doing amazing work, and we're grateful for their impact in the world. As we move forward with the Power Up today, we want to now discuss something that's so important, has been truly elevated since the national pandemic, and that's the state of mental health. Years and years and years ago, there was a stigma attached to it that if you were struggling with how to deal with your emotions, how to process your thoughts, you had a negative issue. We challenge you during this month, Mental Health Awareness Month, to consider how you can be healthy, mind, body, spirit, and yes, finances. Even your relationships and social impact are affected by your mental health. We consider that during the pandemic, many folks didn't think that they had mental health concerns. Our lifestyle was go. Many of us couldn't find enough hours in the day. Come on, y'all. I need more than 24/7. We wake up and we go, and then we've got the kids and we're in a routine and we're driving and we're dropping, or we have to travel for the job, or we're caretakers of our parents, or whatever we're doing. And then we come home and we're doing the whole routine with the kids and the caregiving and whatever it is that we have, the different jobs, community advocacy, all that makes us great. And we drop and get a few hours of sleep to wake up and do it all again. And the wear and tear on your body can be shown in many facets. So we want to pause to elevate mental health awareness, not just to make sure that you leave edified, because we are going to share tips that will help you, but to confirm that it's okay to not be okay. You're hearing it here on the Power Up, because it's important to remember that you have the power to change your situation. We think about those, sadly, who chose suicide as their way of dealing with the mental health concerns, issues that they might have faced. I spoke to a police officer a few weeks ago as I was interviewing him for an article, and he said there have been more suicides jumping off the Chesapeake Bay Bridge in Maryland just in the last few years since the pandemic than he'd seen in at least a 10-year span. Many individuals don't tap into coaches or counseling, therapy, even that psychiatrist if the medication is needed. And I will say this, what we find when we discuss mental health is that we forget the health part. We only think that mental means it's something wrong with you. And I want to take this moment to help promote health care. Being a healthy individual with your mind and your thoughts can help elevate and change your entire perspective. One thing that I learned from an amazing, powerful mentor, she said, Tami, you are what you eat, means the exact same thing with what you allow in your mind, your ear gates and your eye gates. Let me help somebody. How much time do you spend scrolling? All of that you're taking in. Is it good, powerful content? Or is it something that's going to rest and upset you? You're not sleeping well at night. It's got you thinking differently. All of a sudden, that fear factor is apparent in your life because you watched videos where people were just in horrible situations that have caused you anxiety. There are ways to stay healthy. And your mental capacity, your ability to process your thoughts, your emotions, the ability to love yourself makes a difference. And it all starts with, yes, self-care, health care, how you prioritize you. So let's share just a few tips that might help you through this mental health awareness. One of the things that we often forget is how regular exercise is important, even to your mind. You're talking to somebody who went through 2 surgeries back to back within a 3-month period, where I was limited literally in my living space. I wasn't allowed to go outside and have the freedoms that I used to enjoy prior to having this crisis mode. So it made me appreciate the opportunity to rehab and recover, and that recovery is in itself a journey. So it means that you have to take just as much opportunity to keep your brain healthy, keep your mood positive, keep your outlook and perspective enlightened and uplifted. And can I tell you, most of the time that doesn't come from someone else. It's you encouraging you. Come on, family. You have the power. There are some practical things you can do. Consider moving more often. The pandemic found a way to shut us down. Many of us didn't get on the metro or get on the train, get on the subway. Many of us didn't fly as often as we would have. We weren't in our cars commuting as often as we would have, right? So we found ways to be different. I want to challenge you to first look at your environment and how you can maximize your space. You know, one of the reasons that the bikes took off and the treadmills started really selling off the shelf is because we had to look at our space and how we could be better. I've learned how to take conference calls and walk while I'm listening. Used to sit at my desk the whole time looking at an agenda. The pandemic made me find a way to release what I was hearing and dealing with, including other folk. Uh-huh. Right? Everybody doesn't think like you, process like you. Some folks have their own perspective and attitude. Everybody's not negative, but yep, we deal with haters often. You have to figure out not just the how to deal with them, but how you process and release that. Consider incorporating regular exercise in some way. I'll give you one more tip I share. Take the long way around Walmart, family. When you're grocery shopping, go ahead and go the long way. It really is an indoor track. Something that can help you just get those steps in can really make a difference. And before you know it, those prescription medicines are starting to drop off. You heard that doctor say, listen, keep doing what you're doing. And sometimes it's just parking further away. So you got to walk to the door a little bit more. Little things matter. Consider prioritizing your rest and your sleep. You know why? Because your brain is the computer that makes everything else function. So if your brain isn't at full capacity, your mental health is going to be affected. Let me give you an example. How stressed do you feel when you go into meetings? And the first thing you think is, oh, I really don't want to be here. Okay, maybe it's not meetings for you. How many of you wake up in the morning and go, oh my God, it's Monday? I know I'm talking to some real folks out there. It's difficult sometimes just dealing with life. You have to give your body an opportunity to shut down. I often have issues with technology of my computer. I'll be the first to say I'm not data savvy, but I'm grateful for my folk who are. But the one thing they always say is, Tammy, did you reboot? Most of the time, just allowing your computer to shut down, that cell phone to shut down, will give it an opportunity to have those antiviruses reboot, will give the opportunity to have upgrades happen. But it's often at a state of rest. Your body needs the exact same reboot, family. The state of rest, whether you allow meditation in the evenings before you go to bed, cutting on that jazz, stopping that running time. You know what? I'm no longer going to just plop on the bed in the evening. I'm going to find 30 minutes to be still. Those who believe whatever your faith is can take that opportunity to connect with your power battery, your power source, so that you can then be uplifted and have a better perspective in the morning. Another warning from medical professionals that was shared recently on WebMD is the need to put the cell phone down, put the laptop down, and allow the space between that light from the laptop on your brain, from the phone glaring in your eyes, and the constant scrolling. It does have an impact. Here's another one. They say be careful of tech neck that's being like this all the time. How many times do you look up at the ceiling during the day? How many times do you lift your hands over your head? Come on, I'm sharing just some easy tips that medical professionals say are a must to helping your mental health, your perspective, right? And then that good old encourage yourself. Folks who know when they walk into my bathroom, I have stickies all over my mirror. They have positive sayings. One of them is, you are enough. Woo, when I went through a breakup, I needed to see that sticky when I was brushing my teeth in the morning. Helped my transition, helped me go from the hurt to the healthy. Come on, somebody. Helped me go from the fight to that freedom. Yeah, even from wrestling with it to that release. So as we remind you that you are the one able to power up, consider the positive things you surround yourself with. When I give Christmas presents, I often give journals that have positive sayings on them. You are the light. Maybe it might say, don't give up, or even have that winning mindset. Whatever it is that you deal with, it's okay, because the difference factor is you. So during this mental health conversation, helping to elevate your awareness, we want to remind you that you should be aware of how you feel, those things that might be stress indicators, and start taking the power of how you can both shut down to have a great morning, to allow your body to reboot, that computer to upgrade, to relax. Remember that releasing means body movement, even small things like going up the stairs instead of that elevator ride. Uh-huh. It might hurt your knees at first, honey, but let me tell you what I tell folks I work with in my physical fitness profession. I tell them that if your knees already hurt, come on and work them. They're going to hurt anyway. You can ice them up afterwards. It's about being better. So as we go into this next commercial break, remember a few tips. Exercise and movement matters, even if it's just parking further away, walking the long way in the store, considering walking during those conference calls, especially if you're not the one presenting and you just have to hear what's going on. Consider ways you can maximize this pandemic versus letting the walls close in on you. Yeah. And most importantly, when you need help, ask for help. It's okay. You wouldn't walk around with a broken leg. You wouldn't walk around having your sinuses run all the time when you can't even talk. You're going to see somebody at some point. Allergy season is real, but you're at least going to talk to the pharmacist and say, what can I get out of this aisle to help? You're going to seek help in some way. When you plan to get married, most of the time you get couples counseling to help you prepare for what you're going into. There are with those who get higher education, there's counselors at the school. Come on, no excuses. It's not just a therapist or the stigma of a medical professional. There are pastors and parishioners that are available. The ones that just save the space for you to release in a confidential, non-judgmental way. I'll tell you, as a professional coach, someone who coaches executives and leaders globally, everybody needs space to process. So how much better would it be for you to tap into that someone that's going to sit back and help you in a non-judgmental way, not to give you advice and say, you know what you should do, but to say, it sounds like, or I heard you say this 3 times. How important is that to you? Or how about that $1,000,000 question? Can you tell me what is your gift to the world? Can totally change your perspective. Because we get caught in the stuff. How you process and deal with it is what you are empowered to do. Family, consider mental health as health of the mind and prioritize you today. Now for a word from our sponsor.
Marshall Weeks here with you on Financial Friday. Are we convinced? Convinced means firm in one's belief with regard to a particular cause or issue. So my question to us is, are we convinced right now, today, that God will supply all our needs and abundance so we can help bless somebody else even in times when every news report warns of inflation? Are we convinced that our journey, our faith walk and talk may be the only book somebody else may study and come into the knowledge of God? Are we convinced? If we are convinced, operating in faith, then our financial decisions look different, our talk is different. It sets us apart, it makes us stand out. Some might even call us crazy. Why? Because while everyone else is fearful and murmuring about money, we are thanking God that yes, prices are high, but I've never seen the righteous forsaken or begging for bread. Thank you, God, for what I have and all that's coming. No harm, hurt, or danger will come near my dwelling. Inflation? Please. Small thing to a giant. I have more than enough. Overflowing. Eyes have not seen and ears have not heard, and no mind has imagined what God has prepared for those who love Him. See, the religious, the lost, will call you conceited, but in the words of Little Richard, we aren't conceited, we are convinced. Our thoughts lead to our beliefs lead to our actions, and our actions lead to our results. So I ask you, are you convinced? You've been empowered because you should prosper.
Hey, it's Coach Piangel Jones from the Empowered Morning Show, and I'm reminding you to watch All Things Well 4 Thursdays right here on the Win Network.
And again, thank you, ladies. But how important is your financial health in addition to everything else? Welcome back to the Power Up. I'm your host, Tami Hill Thomas. Grateful that we were able to first kick off a discussion regarding the news on a global and national perspective and how we can help others. And then reminding that healthcare includes how you care for your thoughts, your emotions, and your feelings. So now we're going to move into discussing something that I get questions on regularly. We're going to talk about the job rates in the US and give tips on career coaching, how folks can help grow in your career. Many times we encounter individuals because of the pandemic who had great loss, great financial setbacks. Many companies shut down, businesses were birthed, but most needed assistance to either stay alive or had to find a way to take a pause and release the property, the supplies, the equipment that they maintained, just so that they could start all over again. Sadly, many lost their jobs. Also, had to change career opportunities, right? I'll share this story. I had an opportunity to coach an amazing executive. She had a great restaurant chain. Yeah. About 3 restaurants, New Orleans, Maryland, and New York. Really thriving. As the pandemic hit, she had to close those restaurants down one at a time, which meant she had to fire, lay off staff, sell property. Sadly, her dream she took 35 years to build, she watched deplete. But not only did she have to close her business, but she depleted her savings and retirement trying to save the very last restaurant. So when she sat with me, she said, Tami, I haven't done a resume in 35 years. Where do I start? One, first experience due to the pandemic. But can I tell you the great part about her story was that she looked for help and asked, where do I start? Because starting is often hard. But I tell you, if you keep going, you'll hit a finish line, even in a career shift. Perspective is everything. Oh, yeah. And she got a job to help eat, to pay the rent. She did what she needed to do to keep her business license up and is already in the future planning to reopen a restaurant and start again. Not defeated, just had to redirect her life's journey. So we want to talk about career development, how you can move forward even when shifts happen in your career. Whether you got that eviction notice, whether you got the pink slip on your job, shifts are oftentimes not the best feeling in the world. Most of the time you get that immediate response because it hurts first. Now everything you see has to be readdressed. We're going to share tips today on how your shifting can help maximize you, elevate you, increase you, versus put you in reverse, make you even pause. Come on, family. It's about remembering you have the power. So let's jump into it. Some of the things that I would for you to consider when you're looking at career development, personal development, professional development, is the old school thought that there is help out there. There's enough resources around you that once you get through processing the feeling of the hurt, the shock of the fact that now my situation has to change, and realize that, okay, I've got to come up with a plan. I've got to do something. I can't stay here. That's when your power starts to activate. Mind first says, I got to do something. And then you get to work. There are some easy things to consider. YouTube University is what I call it. Y'all, I learned how to change something on my washing machine by watching a YouTube video. There are many skills that you can increase during your shifting that can make you better. We're going to talk about resumes. We're going to talk about job interviews. We're going to talk about those type of things that you want to knock out the park to actually get the job. Even if you're currently employed and you want that promotion or you want to increase, maybe you finally decide, I've been working this career long enough and I really hate my job. I love working with kids. It's time for me to get in the education field. The pandemic helped to highlight the need in the medical field for all types of positions. Maybe you had to bury loved ones during the pandemic and said, I want to take this opportunity to actually find a way to get in a field I'm going to love going to work doing. I want to remind you that sometimes shift hurts, but you can use it to maximize you. You're talking to a divorcee. Not going into my business, don't ask. Just know that I didn't have a choice. But what I can tell you is the other side of it is what is I am enjoying, is what I'm sowing and reaping and building, right? I also mentioned my surgeries. I didn't stay there in the woe is me space. Oh my God, I gained 50 pounds and I hate where I am. Come on, somebody, I got a trainer. I went and got a nutritionist to tell me how my eating makes a difference. I found the power to work in my shift. So when you're talking about job loss or even job growth, consider a few things. First, get the knowledge you need for your next level. Why are you looking to just get hired at a new place and you hate the job? Sometimes that pink slip was God's opportunity to tell you, it's time to move on, daughter. Son, I have better for you. You have the power to get from A to Z, but you have to do it. So grow your skills in ways that can be free as well as cost. Okay? Yes, you want to be certified in certain things where there are technical skills required. If you don't know computers, I'm not going to pay you to fix my computer. So if you want to grow in that knowledge, those technical skills, what we call hard skills, then you want to do what you can to gain that information. It becomes key that you're familiar with and have the knowledge of that information when you sit in front of me and I have to consider you during an interview. In other words, do you speak the language? Do you understand contracts language and I'm hiring a contractor? Can you speak the lingo that's required to make me want to hire you above the 300 other resumes on my desk? Giving you a cheat tip here. Sometimes instead of watching those movies hour after hour, the binge watching, maybe you can consider ebooks. Those YouTube motivational speaking videos, many of them are education in itself. You can listen while you're grocery shopping, family. Come on. You listen while you're in traffic. As much as I love that morning show, I'm on my way to an interview that's about this. I need to refresh my mind so it's fresh on my tongue so that when that boss says, tell me about your experience with such and such, I can say, are you speaking of? And spit the language first. Even when you don't necessarily have a lot of experience in the area, especially for those who may, like I say, hate a job you're working. Maybe you don't like accounting. Or maybe you like accounting, but you don't want to do it in a school system. You want to do it in a hospital. There's different coding required for medical billing. Do you know the terminology? You can learn that. YouTube. You can take certification programs, $40 certificates. I'm trying to help somebody here. The We Empowered Network doesn't just want you to watch us. I know, listen, you could be looking at someone a lot more pretty, but I want to make sure that you can leave edified. Consider how you can grow and increase in the hard times. Okay? Here's the thing. Trouble don't last always, is what my grandma told me. So if you can keep the perspective, if you can keep hope alive, Thank you, Reverend Jesse Jackson. Then you'll find that the moment you're walking through the mud, at some point you're going to get up out the swamp, take your boots off, take that shower, put on that fresh gear. But one thing you have learned and mastered is how to be a mud walker. Come on, family. It's what you do right now. So look for the free, the cost-effective approaches. Look for how you can maximize your time. Sometimes you don't need more hours in the day. You've got to learn prioritization, time management skills. Come on. Because if you can do your life in that way, as a boss, I'm going to love watching you work all the demands that I have to put on you, because we have to produce, we have to perform. So as you're moving through this career journey, consider how you can increase you. Can I remind you of one thing? The better you are and more increased, the better you are, not just for your boss, but for your spouse, for your children, for your neighborhood, that community work at church, leading the Girl Scout troop, starting that book club. Can I tell you how much better you are in your neighborhood? How much your speech changes? And yep, even your confidence level. And that's even for my introverts, the ones who are good working alone. There's ways you can maximize this moment. One of the best parts about the information age is that I'm sitting in my home office sharing all of this with you. How can you turn that video on and make money? How can you find ways to do posts and get connected to all the networks that are out there? I want to help one more time. For my folks who might want to be connected in the medical field, for example, are you getting medical journals? Are you part of those medical Facebook groups? Networking is everything. It's oftentimes, yes, who you know, but do you know that just being in the water will have you able to experience being in the ocean? It will have you in a place where you get to experience the warmth of the tropical, or learning how to float, or even learning how to swim. It will have you in that space where you don't just get out wet, but you got out learning and better. I hope I'm helping someone today, because your career, your job, whatever you want to do in life that's going to help you eat, is oftentimes bigger than the limits that you might be living in right now. And I want to leave you with this one thought. How long do you plan to work for someone else that can lay you off, that can fire you, that can have you running all day, sweating and stressed and dealing with folks? How often? Or are you going to work that job so you can eat and pay the bills, and because it will support your dreams? Come on, author. There's a book in you. Let's go. Come on, speaker. If you just need to learn how to tap into that, go on, keep your nice job. And when you get an opportunity, speak every chance you get. Because when you think about dreaming, oh, that's a whole nother thing. We're going to come back to that another day. But dream releasing means recognizing that where I am is a transition. There's always up and there's always better. Your career path contributes so much to who you are because it builds your knowledge base. You have experience in what you do. You've learned how to be a team player. You've learned how to operate office equipment. You learn inventory control. And most of all, you've learned temperance and personality development. You've learned how to hold your peace many times. You've learned how to remain professional in spite of. You've learned how to walk in excellence. So don't allow this moment, family, if you're in that job transition, that career process, to think that right now is permanent. One thing I promise you is you have the power for greatness that's ahead of you and it always will get better. So, as we get ready to go into our wrap up, we'll hear more after this.
Hey everybody, this is Regina Hutt, the wellness practitioner on Empowered Mornings. We'd like to invite you every Wednesday night, 8 p.m., uniquely and gorgeous, to keep your mind locked and loaded on WIN Network.
Hey, it's your girl, A Love. Make sure you follow me and Pastor PG, LaShonda Robinson, on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Girl Let's Talk. And let me tell you, it's not your typical church conversation. Make sure you join us on the WIN Network.
Amazing. Make sure you tune in. More to come. Welcome back to the Power Up. I'm your host, Tami Hill Thomas. Looking forward to wrapping up today's session. We've discussed global news, national news, making sure to remind you of the power you have to help others who are in need. Remember, feel free to send, donate, contribute to the United Nations Foundation to assist our brothers and sisters across the water in other lands who need your assistance and are dealing with the effects of tornadoes, disasters. Today, I highlighted our family in Canada dealing with wildfires. Remember, every bit helps. Also, consider how you can help our brothers and sisters in this country who are dealing with natural disasters by contributing to the American Red Cross. The American Red Cross partners with local nonprofit agencies, local governments to make sure to get direct support to those who are in need. As today we think about a family in California recovering from many wildfires, many disasters, and recent earthquakes. Our hearts are with you. And family, remembering how important your mental health is. Remember, there are so many different services that are available to you. You can tap into the National Institute on Mental Health to get real-time resources. The National Institute on Mental Health focuses on increasing, developing, and educating how you care for your mind. Also, the CDC and the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline offer information that can certainly help how you deal with your environment, including with others. I want to implore you to once again remember, it's okay to feel how you feel. Whether folks believe it or not, we've got to step back from thinking we've got to get co-signed on things. We've got to get approval from others. You are the amazing you God created you to be. And I got news for you. No one else is going to understand what he has on your heart, in your mind, in your hands to do, on your path. Nobody can understand it as well as you. If you need assistance, tap into the resources that you see on your screen. These agencies are available to help you. And the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline has trained individuals that just want to talk. Please consider how we would rather hear your story than read about it in an obituary. Family, we're going to go into our wrap up today, discussing how wonderful we are as the creations in this earth, how purposeful we are and uniquely designed to be great. We're going to wrap up thinking about the career shifts and the life shifts that happen. Think about it this way. You were a baby once, learned how to walk by walking, falling, standing up, getting back up, running, falling, getting back up. You started taking tests in school. You didn't like them, but look at where you are now. Went through high school, some through college, some on into amazing professions. Some went into our military. Thank you for your service. Whatever you're designed to do is uniquely designed for you. You are hardwired in your DNA to win. I need you to write that down. I am hardwired. It's in my DNA to win. I'm the mom of a goalkeeper who plays semi-pro and has represented our nation overseas for the U.S. soccer team. I watch my son regularly try to be the best and figure out how he can increase. Now, as a mom, all I see is him slamming his body against the ground over and over. Brother has broken so many parts of his body. As a mom, all I could do was try to figure out how to protect him, how to care for him. He didn't think like I thought. In his mind, he's goal driven, goal focused. I want to win this game. I got to block these shots. I got to do what my job is in this moment. I want to be the best. His off the field grind is so much harder than that hour and a half game. Family, consider how much you put into you so that you already are ready when it's time to show up. Oh, that was good. Consider how you take time to grow and increase you. So when it's lights, camera, action, you're not fumbling. The butterflies are going to be there for folks who just aren't used to speaking or who get nervous. I'm a natural speaker. I'm a trainer for the United States government. But can I tell you, every time I get a microphone, I get butterflies. Every time I have a camera that turns on, it's natural that I don't want to say something wrong. I don't want to offend someone. I want individuals to want to come back and hear more. But most importantly, that if they never hear me again, that they feel like they're leaving with something. And empowered is important. You have the ability to be empowered and empower yourself on a daily basis. I mentioned the stickies that I have in my mirror because as I was recovering and taking pills at the bathroom sink, I looked up and I saw don't give up. Or I saw it's time for you to rest. Or I saw it's okay. Whatever I needed to see that helped me in that moment fed back into me. People who visit my home know I'm big on words. When you come in my house, I have wooden words or hanging on the walls or pictures. I love seeing things that feed back into me. So I see breathe on my desk. I see blessed in my kitchen. I see love in different places around my home because love is an action word. It's not a thing to just have and put on the shelf. It's something you got to show. So my husband says it best when he says, I can say I love her all day, but if I don't show her, come on, family. So I want to empower you today by reminding you that your purpose is yours to have, embrace, and own. And let me help folks. We oftentimes get caught up in our past mistakes. Yeah, I got a whole lot of them. We oftentimes get caught up in looking at other people and wanting to be like them, thinking that I'm nobody because she's better. Or even, what's the point of me trying? Look at all the people already doing it. I know someone said those words. I know I have. And I want to encourage you to consider that the people that you touch may never be the people I touch. That's why you're designed to do it. My husband plays the piano, the organ, the keyboard. He's not in competition with Stevie Wonder. The people that he's going to play the keyboard for are the ones that are going to be blessed by him using his gift. The ones that are around you will be so impacted because you step into your gift. Tami, I don't know what my gift is. You keep talking about purpose. I have no idea. I'm glad you thought about those things. Write those questions down. Anything you're unsure, write them down. I need to know. I wish I had. Any thoughts you have, pour it onto paper. Because then when you look at them, you can identify, make a plan to address it, show progress steps, and honey, live out loud and on purpose. Come on, family. The only limits you're going to live in are the limits you put on you. Let's obliterate that box. Come out the box. Get rid of the box. There's too much life to live, and it's all at your hands. Now, reality says, I don't have the money to toast champagne every day of the week. I got Kool-Aid in my refrigerator. It's okay to have your champagne dreams on a Kool-Aid budget, honey. But the difference is, are you staying in your Kool-Aid budget? Or are you starting to open up and learn about how to make your dreams come true? Because you deserve to be happy. Everything you see everyone else having, why not for you? I want to say this as we get ready to end our show today. We want to give a special shout out and acknowledgement to the class of 2023. Whether you're graduating kindergarten, middle school, elementary, high school, college, graduate school, whether you've completed a special certification program. We've had a lot of folks that just completed nursing school because they were determined that the pandemic showed them, I don't want to do this. I want to be a nurse. And that includes one young lady who's 75 years old. She just completed nursing school, said she wanted to shift from what she was doing and make a difference and help and follow her dreams. Was it easy? Absolutely not. But if you're just sitting around looking easy or looking for easy, you're going to be limited automatically. Because just waking up in the morning takes God. It takes you getting up. It's not just easy to put your feet on the floor and face what the day has for you. But can I tell you, just the fact that you get up and face it and decide that I want all this day has for me, and decide that if there's nothing I'm going to face that's going to knock me out, might knock the wind out of you, might even bend you back. But you might bend, but you won't break. Figure out how you can learn from life situations, just as the many graduates have. We want to acknowledge your achievement. We want to tell you here at the Power Up that if no one else says it, we're proud of you. You deserve all the fight and hard work that you put in to this moment. Enjoy the moment, honey. It's yours to have. I know a young man who graduated, and everywhere he goes, he's wearing his cap. And I told him, good for you. Enjoy all that this moment has. Family, we thank you for joining us today. The Power Up means that you have the opportunity to change your perspective, increase and walk in your purpose. Because here, we just want to equip, educate, empower, and elevate you into your success. Until next time,